Good afternoon. Today's topic, portion. Does size really matter? Hell yeah, unfortunately it does. Now, I've noticed that there's lots of conflicting advice out there, generally about lots of things to do with food, to do with nutrition, and portion sizes is another thing that can get us really confused. So, what information can I share with you today that might help you feel like you are getting back on track and appreciating that size does matter, and that you're making the right choices for the journey that you are on at the moment? There are lots of conflicting bits of advice about portion control, and it very much depends what works for you. So that I'm going to give you lots of different ideas, but try different things out and try and find a system that works for you. There are two trains of main thought, really. One is a kind of a weights and measures sort of a system, and the other one is trying to use everyday points of reference to give us a clue. On top of that, it's further complicated by understanding how many portions of each of our major food groups we actually need through the course of a day. So, what I want to try and do is take it food group by food group and give you some examples of how you can keep a closer eye on the amount that you're eating. But I would say two potential valuable tips to help you. Before you even start looking at anything else, I want you to think about two things. The first thing is how present you are in the moment when you are eating. The best possible situation to be eating in is not in front of the iPad, not in front of the television, not scrolling through Facebook on your phone, not making phone calls during lunch, not necessarily standing sorting out lunch for everybody else while you're shoving something with the butt of your hand into your mouth because you haven't really got time to eat. So your presence in your mealtime, I believe, is crucial. It gives your brain a chance to communicate with your tummy, and your tummy a chance to communicate with your brain, your mouth, your messengers, your hormones, everything that is reliant on all of those communication pathways. All of those systems are going to work better if you are in the moment with your eating. The second thing is to make sure that you are well hydrated throughout the day. This doesn't mean whacking a massive pint of water down you before you eat anything. If I do that, I'll eat less. That'll be amazing. I'll have a tummy full of water so I won't be hungry. All you've done is dilute out all the important digestive enzymes and juices that you need to effectively digest your meal. You will cause yourself more problems doing that than any benefits that you think you might get from eating less because you've got a tummy full of water. So try and avoid drinking lots around a mealtime. Try to aim to hydrate yourself well throughout the day. Sipping water throughout the day is much better for you. So, bearing those two things in mind, let's think about the different food groups and what we are aiming for. Now, you may well already have set in your mind that portion control means you are going to spend the rest of your life starving. It doesn't have to be that way. There are lots of little tricks that you can do. If you eat at the moment on a massive dinner plate, you might want to consider buying a slightly smaller plate. If you have a relatively small plate at the moment and sometimes you feel overfaced because there's mountains on it, then use a bigger plate and spread it out a little bit more. There's all sorts of things we can do to almost trick our mind into processing the fact that we are eating, understanding the fact that we are eating and appreciating the fact that we are eating, slowing down when we are eating, savouring what we are eating, enjoying the experience of eating, making it a social occasion. All sorts of things can help us to digest in a relaxed and stress-free situation, which also helps our digestion, but will also mean our body is conscious of the fact it is eating. The messengers will get back and forth from gut to brain and brain to gut, and we actually won't eat as much, which is one of the things that some of us are trying to get hold of. So, food group 1, your grains and your carbohydrates. So forgive me, I have lots of information around the screen at the moment to make sure I give you the best information possible. So grains and carbohydrates, we're looking at having around about 8 to 10 portions of those every single day. Okay, 8 to 10 portions. Now, with our carbohydrates, an example of a portion might be 1 medium slice of bread. My advice with the bread is always going to be buy the best quality bread that you can. If your bread will last for a week in the cupboard and nothing grows on it, there's some interesting things in that loaf. They might be causing you problems. So buy the best, freshest recipe bread you possibly can buy. So you're looking at 1 portion is 1 medium slice of bread. A carbohydrate portion could be 1 cup, like 1 teacup of cereal. You know, your bran flakes or your corn flakes or something like that. Okay? It could be half a cup of cooked pasta. Half a cup of cooked pasta. Now, half a cup, some people say are American measures. I love my cup measures. I think they're really handy for that sort of thing. Scoop it out, chuck it in. But a pasta portion, half a cup, is around about 2 to 3 tablespoons of cooked pasta. Half a cup of rice, exactly the same, 2 to 3 tablespoons. So 1 serving is 2 to 3 tablespoons. Remember, across the course of a day, you're looking for 8 to 10 carbohydrate portions, carbohydrate servings through the course of the day. What else could be classed as a carbohydrate portion? Maybe 3 tablespoons of oats. That'd be about a cup of cereal, 3 tablespoons. I think it's about 40 grams. I remember having a little measure in my, I still have in fact got a measure in my porridge oat pot. It's just a little Tupperware pot, and I remember measuring out about 40 grams, probably when I was doing something like Slimming World, and it's around about the right amount. It's about 4 dessert spoons or 3 tablespoons worth of oats. It might be 2 or 3 new potatoes. That would be a serving size, 2 or 3 new potatoes, or a jacket potato around about the size of your fist. Now, I know what some of you are going to say, but my fist is quite a small fist. I have small hands, but my husband has got really, really big hands. So his jacket potato fist is bigger than mine. You're right. So that's because he is a bigger person than you are. Okay, so yes, portion sizes will vary when you look at things like a fist being a size, a palm of a hand being a size, a thumb being a size. They will vary between people, but your body size is varying, and so your calorie requirement is varying as well. It gives you a general idea. So obviously your tablespoons and your cups are going to be much more specific measurements. But if you want an everyday reference object, then a baked potato around about the size of your fist is around about the right kind of size. So those are your grains, your pastas, your rice, your potatoes, your cereal, your bread. And remember, we're looking for 8 to 10 servings of those every single day. Vegetables. With your vegetables and your fruits, we know that we are looking for at least 5 a day. I would say go for 7. And if you can smash it out of the park at 10 servings or 10 portions a day, that would be immense. So you're talking again about a cup of salad greens. You might be talking about 1 serving being half a cup of cooked carrots, or a few tablespoons, couple of tablespoons of peas or sweet corn or mixed vegetables or something like that. You're talking about a cup of broccoli or cauliflower, something quite chunky like that. So if you can get 5 veg servings in a day, that would be brilliant. If maybe on top of that you can have 3 or 4 fruit servings, that would be fab. So your 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 a day of your fruit and veg, I believe, should predominantly be vegetables and then some fruit as well. So if you can get 5 fruit and 3 veg or more, 5 veg and 3 fruit or more, that would be absolutely fantastic. And with your fruit portions, one of those portions will be an apple. One of those portions could be 2 plums or 2 satsumas, quite small things. A handful of grapes would be a portion. A handful of berries would be a portion. Half of a red pepper would be a portion. A big beef tomato would be a portion. And remember, you're looking for 5 veg and 3 to 5 fruit on top of that. So those are your portion sizes. And you know what? If as a rule of thumb, your plate every mealtime could be at least a third, if not half of a plate of vegetables or salad, that would be immense. If you can eat at least half of that at the start of your meal, it will help to activate all the digestive enzymes in your system, all of which are really going to improve your digestive efficiency. That's probably the best way to put it. So we've done grains and carbohydrates, we've done vegetables, we've done fruit. What about our meat or our protein sources? Okay, so we're looking for between 2 and 3 portions of protein every single day. So for some people, that's easy. They're like, right, I need to make sure I've had protein in every meal. Other people are, no, I can't do protein in the morning. I want to concentrate on having some protein at lunchtime and some protein in the evening. I want more at lunchtime, less in the evening, or they might decide they're going to have plenty of protein at night. You have to listen to your body and work out what suits you. But 2 to 3 portions of protein every day would mean that you could have some in every meal, and that would keep you nice and full up. Protein is the source of satiety in our diet. It's what helps us to feel full. So, for our animal protein, cooked meat, ham, chicken, turkey, that sort of thing, we're looking for something around about the size of our palm. This part of our palm. So for some people, well, okay, I don't want to look at my palm because my palm is smaller than my husband's palm. So a deck of cards. Think about a deck of cards, a packet of cards. If your cooked meat is around about the same size as a deck of cards, that's a perfect portion size. And you're looking for 2 to 3 portions that size during the course of a day. It could well be that you have 2 eggs instead. That's a good protein portion. 2 eggs scrambled or boiled. Everybody loves a dippy egg. 2 eggs boiled, 2 eggs poached. Scramble your eggs, that works well too. And things like fish, whether it's oily fish or meaty kind of fish, you know, white fish, you're again looking at the size of the palm of your hand. So if you think about it, when I buy salmon, generally it's not as wide as the palm of my hand, but it's probably about that size. So it's my whole palm split in half that way. So that kind of works for me as well. So a piece of salmon, they usually cut them into nice portion sizes of about 80 grams, 100 grams maybe of fish. That's about the right kind of portion size for your meat or your fish. Now, if you are looking at plant sources of protein, then baked beans. About 4 tablespoons of baked beans is a good portion. Same with your kidney beans or cannellini beans or butter beans or anything like that. They're a great source of plant protein. So you're looking at about 4 level tablespoons as one of your portions. Same with your pulses, 3 or 4 tablespoons again there. And if you want to use things like nuts, if you want to use things like nut butter, they are an important source of protein, but remember they've got carbohydrate as well, and they are a source of fat. Now they're good fats and they are really, really important minerals as well, but just be careful with nuts. If it's nuts or nut butter, you're looking at about 30 grams. That is not as much as you think it's going to be. So either weigh out your peanuts or your little sample of mixed nuts if you're going to munch on those as a snack, or measure out your peanut butter. You're talking about a tablespoon of peanut butter is about 30 grams, or a tablespoon of nuts, tablespoon of peanuts out of the bag, or of mixed nuts out of the pot. So be careful with nuts. They're a great source of protein, as I say. Some carbohydrate, really important minerals, so good for your immune system, but just be careful how many of them you're snacking on. But yes, plant proteins are important for us too. So we've done our grains and our carbohydrates. We've talked about our vegetables and our fruit, and we've touched on our protein, both animal sources and plant sources too. So now we need to look at dairy. So our dairy, okay. So this includes things like butter. If we're looking at butter, tip of your thumb. It's like a teaspoon or something, isn't it? So be careful with the butter. I know we all like the taste of butter, but this is where I talk about go good. Buy really good quality butter rather than naff and nasty margarine. that is only one double bond away from the plastic pot that it is actually held in. Literally, chemically, there's not that much difference. So go for really good quality butter, but with your dairy, you're talking about 2 or 3 portions in a day again. So be very careful with your dairy. I mean, actually, butter, we kind of need to class that as fat. Teaspoon, end of the thumb, that's about it. So the rest of your dairy, 2 to 3 portions a day. What are we looking at with our dairy? We're looking at milk. A glass of milk, 200 mils of milk, a third of a pint. It's not that much. 200 mils is just shorter than a Coke glass. Okay, so be careful how many cups of tea and coffee you're having. If you're having 2 or 3 lattes a day, how many of those dairy portions are you using up with your coffee when you haven't even thought about food for the day? You might be looking at a cup of yogurt. A cup of yogurt. So that's like one of those little pot equivalents. So if you buy your yogurt in a big carton and you're dolloping it on your fruit in the morning, just be mindful of what the portion control is actually like. So you're looking at 125 grams. What's that? About 3 tablespoons. And those aren't massive dollopy tablespoons. Those are nice flat level tablespoons. This is one. Cheese. How do we look at our portion control? Because the cheese box and the cheese board is a wonderful place to be. And you know what? When there's a cheese board, there's more than one cheese. So we want a bit of each one, don't we? And cheese is a real killer when it comes to portion control. Because in truth, 30 grams of cheese, our standard size portion, is about the size of a matchbox. It's about the size of your thumb or 2 fingers. It's really not very much. So be careful again with your cheese. If we want 2 to 3 servings of dairy in a day, and we're talking about having some yogurt on our breakfast cereal and milk in our teas and coffees, then that cheese that goes with our lunch is that much. We can really easily eat half a pound of cheese at lunchtime without meaning to. So 2 to 3 portions of dairy a day. Be careful how you split that up over the course of a day. So finally, that takes us on to the fats. We touched on this with our dairy butter a minute ago. A teaspoon of butter is like that little bit off the end of your thumb. A teaspoon of olive oil. It's really, really not very much. Really not very much. And in terms of our fats, the number of portions of fat that we have during the day, that very much depends on the rest of our lifestyle. So if you have been told to follow a low-fat diet because maybe you've got some digestive issues with your liver or your gallbladder or your bile production, then you need to make sure that those fats are good fats. It's olive oil, it's avocado oil, it's maybe coconut oil, macadamia nut oil, the high omega-3 oils that are anti-inflammatory oils. Try to minimize the amount of pro-inflammatory, so the inflammation-causing oils like vegetable oil and sunflower oil. So kind of getting a little bit of knowledge about those oils is really important as well. Understanding how you're tolerating them. Some people will be following a higher fat diet, so they'll be putting olive oil on their salad. They will be using oils to cook. They might be putting oil in their coffee first thing in the morning because they're following a higher fat, higher protein plan and a lower carbohydrate plan, that sort of paleo keto kind of lifestyle. So it's really important to understand for you what kind of food plan you are following, and if it's a balanced food plan that you're following, that you're getting the right number of these servings and that those servings within the day are the right kind of sizes. So when you split up your servings, you're looking at maybe having 3 to 4 carbohydrate servings with your breakfast, maybe a protein serving with each of your meals. Whacking some fruit or veg in with every single meal and using it as snacks, brilliant. You're going to get those 8, 9, 10 portions of fruits and vegetables in every single day. Maybe you're going to have cereal in the morning, so you're going to use some of your milk, your dairy servings. You're going to have maybe some cheese at some point during the day, and you might pop a yogurt in, either with some berries or some pudding later in the day, or maybe you've had that for breakfast in the morning. So understanding how many portions of each thing and the size of those portions is crucial to your success. So whether you decide to use your palm, your thumb, your fingers, cups, tablespoons, whatever it is that you decide, I hope that the information I've shared in this video will help you out and help you to understand where you might be going a little stray, because size really does matter. Talk to you soon.